Hey you guys, it's Britt. Today we're here to react to a recent Q&A that Brittany Dawn did with her husband. I'm actually filming these out of order. I didn't realize that they were posted so close together. Initially I was going to wait, and see how you guys liked the first one that I did, but I'm going to go ahead and film these. So hopefully it's not super confusing, but either way, if you're interested, please keep watching. All right, you guys, so like I said, I actually filmed my reaction to part 2 about an hour ago. I'm going to try to post these on the same day. If not, they'll be posted back to back. But they did this married life Q&A, and it's very much, of course it's cringeworthy just because they're cringeworthy to me, but it is sort of funny to see her constantly be a hypocrite. She's very hypocritical, and if you've seen her TikToks, which I've reacted to twice now on my channel, she puts out this message like she knows all the answers. She has all the answers. The way that I'm living is the best way to live. And if you're not seeing things that you want to see, then maybe you need to, lean on faith more and become a daughter of Jesus and all this kind of stuff. And it's just very interesting to see how she reacts to some of these questions, and it's funny to see her husband react. They're both pieces of work in my personal opinion. At the end of the day, like I've said in other videos, I would be very happy to completely ignore her, but until she repays the people that she scammed, I'm unable to ignore her. And at this point in time, it seems like the only justice that might come out of this is now that the state of Texas is actually suing her ass. That might get some justice for the people that she scammed. But aside from that, she had every opportunity to do the right thing and decided not to. And she wants to say the past is the past, and now I'm a Christian influencer and I know what I'm doing. And in fact, she doesn't. She's a piece of shit, in my opinion. So we're gonna watch this. It's 17 minutes. Hopefully this video is not gonna be an hour, but let's get started.
Nose is good.
Can you see that from there?
Well.
Hello, YouTube.
Oh, you already started.
Well, I just
How
started.
long ago did you start?
Well, I just started it.
Did you get me checking my nose?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Hello, YouTube, and welcome back to my channel.
We're going to have to set some ground rules.
I have the hubs here with me today. I'm really excited. We're doing our...
I would say a good ground rule would be not worrying about what you look like on YouTube. I would say that the video footage of what was caught when he slammed an innocent black man to the ground is what he should be worried about, not the fact that this stupid little clip was left in intentionally of him looking at his nose.
First married Q&A. If you guys have been following for a while, you guys know that we did one of these back a year ago, actually.
Yeah.
It was like during the Snowmageddon.
Yeah, dating.
We're here... Oh, that's my grocery list. Hang on. We're here to do a Q&A, and we actually have not... I wrote these out on my phone because that's the easiest way to go through as many as we can, but we have not discussed these in any way, shape, or form, so I don't even know how this is going to go.
She just sent me over the list. We'll
did.
See how this goes.
Okay, do you want me to read the first one?
Yeah.
All right, we're just going to...
Did they have to agree on the questions that they were going to answer? Why did they both have the list? I find that a little interesting.
Jump in. How did y'all avoid temptation while dating, especially since you both had had sex before?
Boundaries, boundaries, boundaries.
Yeah, we set a lot of boundaries.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the concept behind we had both had sex before and messed up and weren't focused on honoring the Lord in our relationship. So this time we both made a conscious decision. What if we try it the right way? And how will that work out? And here we are. I feel like the Lord honored that because we honored him first.
Yeah.
So it's been...
The Lord sees your obedience.
Yeah.
Oh my God. I talked about this in the other reaction that I did too, but purity culture is so dangerous to make people feel like they are doing something wrong by expressing themselves sexually is extremely problematic, and for her to have a platform to stand on and be putting this message out to young women, young men too, but I would say 98% of her audience is probably women under the age of 30. It is so toxic and so problematic. You cannot make people feel shameful for having emotion.
I think that's important to throw in there. The Lord sees your obedience and he will also honor that.
Definitely not easy, but
no.
We both made the decision of we've done it the wrong way in the past. What if we do it the right way this time and see where it takes us?
And we definitely had moments too where like we were getting close to being past certain boundaries and like literally had to stop and pray. Yeah. I remember one time specifically, you actually stopped and prayed over us, knowing what the boundaries are and knowing that if you do not do it with Jesus, you're not going to succeed. Like there's no point in waiting for sex, saving sex for.
That is so weird. That is so weird. I'm sorry. Can you imagine things progressing and him literally stopping and praying over them? I'm sorry. Like, I think that's super weird. Instead of just saying, no, like, let's not do this. I don't know. I find that very weird. And I said this in my other video too, and I'm sorry it's driving me nuts right now. I have done my best to steer clear of critiquing people's makeup, but in this video, her lipstick being lighter than her foundation color, it's absolutely driving me nuts. Her makeup would actually look decent if she could just contour her lips a little bit.
Marriage if you're not doing it for the Lord. And I think you have to remember to have him in the center of all of it. That was a good answer, babe. Good job.
How do you handle conflict?
Ooh, I'm gonna be super transparent with y'all because that's what we're all about, transparency. There's two different approaches to conflict. There's fight and there's flight. I am a flight girl. I flee, and a lot of that just has to do with past traumas that I've gone through.
Gone. Just
like a wind.
Running down the road.
And so that's something we had to talk about during premarital counseling. That really like changed the game for us. There's a question specifically that Jordan will ask me and I'll let you say it because I don't want.
He definitely seems like the fight type of person to when there is conflict, just based off what I've seen and what has been portrayed. He definitely seems like someone that is very hot-headed and no.
To steal that from you about whenever we're in the heat of a moment, and especially if I'm just like venting to him or if I'm frustrated or upset, he has something that he says that will literally diffuse any situation.
So we learned this in premarital counseling. Do you want me to listen or do you want me to fix it? Because men are inherently fixers. If we can establish what the intent is from the get-go, then we can proceed accordingly. So if she just wants me to listen, then I'm not going to interject and ask questions and, try to get to the root of the problem. If she wants me to fix it, then I'm going to ask those questions and figure out the best way to fix it.
I don't have anything to add to that. That's it. He's a over communicator and I'm a flight girl. And
well, the problem though with Mr. Jordan here is his version of fixing is also sometimes, as we saw with Brody, a sweet dog losing its life because he feels like he is such a fixer that he's not going to trust the medical professionals. He's just going to take things into his own hands. So that's fine if you're a fixer, but to me, a real fixer would be leaning on medical professionals, making sure that your dog is not just going to be shot in the head because your irresponsibility allowed him to get into the situation he was in by getting hit by a car. So he claims he's a fixer. He's just not the kind of fixer that I would write home about.
It just works.
I have a good over communicator. That's, you ain't kidding.
Yeah.
To a fault.
I love that advice.
All right. How to be an encouraging wife to my husband and bring him closer to the Lord without coming off as pushy or overwhelming.
So I remember when I wrote out this question, and the second part of this question was that he does not know the Lord. He doesn't have a walk with him. He doesn't read the Bible or anything. From one sister in Christ to another, I just want to encourage you and remind you that you cannot make someone know Jesus. You cannot make someone surrender at the feet of Jesus. And so I think
Yeah, and the problem is a lot of these new age Christians, people like Brittany Dawn, who are exploiting their own religion for followers, clicks, views, and income, it turns people who aren't religious off from Christianity or any other organized religion, because it is so shoved down your throat and it's so all over the timeline. And look at how I'm living, look at this good life that I have, and if you're not doing these things, then you're not having a good life either. Or if you're failing, it's because of the devil. All of these kinds of things, people who are neutral and just kind of out there existing, trying to be the best version of themselves, they get turned off because Christians are pushy. I'm sorry, I'm not saying all of them, but there are some, like Brittany Dawn, that are utilizing their platform to spread these messages. They're not just once in a while sharing what they do. It's a price tag attached to it. It's constant preaching. It's constant, this is the best way. If you're not doing it this way, then that's why you're miserable. That's why you're stuck. That's why you're not getting married. And it's just absolutely ridiculous, and it makes people run for the hills.
Letting him see your fruit, those fruits of the Spirit, which you should have. If you have the Holy Spirit inside of you, you will have those. Letting those transpire and manifest, and he's going to see that. Like, he's going to see the love behind every action you have towards him, and he's going to start asking, okay, like, why is she so joyful during hard times? Why is she so uplifting and encouraging all the time, no matter what we're facing?
I don't think it goes back to man or woman. I think it goes back to pray for your person to have a radical encounter with the Lord. Showing them what the Lord has done in your life can go a long way. And so I think that is...
You could also pray for your person, Jordan, to repay the people that she scammed. Did you ever think about that? If you really have her best interest in mind, then to me, that would have been one of the things that I would have fixed long before the state of Texas had the opportunity to sue her ass.
A great jumping off point is just to pray for them and to show them the Lord and what he's done for us through you, and the way you act, the way you love them will go a long ways, and they will start to ask, why is that person different? What is it about them that makes them have so much grace, or have so much joy, or have so much love to give, even when things aren't perfect?
Yeah. Wow. He's just hijacking all these, and I'm here for it.
I'm not.
I love it. What are the signs that someone is a godly man and that they are truly willing to wait? Some men are conniving and know the right words and actions, and I don't want to fall victim to that again. This is really good. We've kind of touched on this a little bit in our previous one. You will know them by their fruit. Their fruit is not their words. Their fruit is going to be their actions. Are they respecting boundaries that you're placing? Are they honoring those boundaries? Are they honoring you like the daughter of the king that you are? Just to name a few. There's so many different things. Are they trustworthy? Are they gentle with their words, with their actions? Are they uplifting and encouraging and just filled with love and the Holy Spirit? I don't know. There's so much you could say to that.
If you judge off there.
She really wants to talk about fruit and actions and the Holy Spirit and all of these things that she associates with being a good person. Let me just tell you guys, most of you will probably know this, but for me, what I associate with being a good person is treating others the way that you want to be treated. It's not scamming people. It's not ignoring people when they paid you for a service and they come back with issues or concerns or refund requests. It's not shoving my way of life down your throat. And none of those things have anything to do with being a religious person. It just has to do with being someone with a decent soul, a good head on their shoulders, and someone who is not here to push ill will on anyone, even if you have a strong opinion about them. And this is also something that I have seen many times lost in translation when it comes to these Christian influencers, is that you can be a really good person and it has nothing to do with the Bible verses, Bible camps, exploiting your religion. You can have those things be far, far away from you, and you can still be a really good person.
their walk and who they are in Christ, you'll be able to tell it's not just the words that they say to you, it's the way they treat their friends, it's the way they treat their family. You know, it's the way that they conduct themselves 24/7 that will be a, what's the right word I'm looking for?
A light, or be an example.
It'll be an example
Yeah.
as to what their heart is and what they truly want. And you know, unfortunately, I mean, the whoever wrote this question brings up a really good point. There are some people out there who are really good at manipulating and can say all the right things, do all the right things, and just...
And I think that Brittany Dawn is definitely a very good manipulator. She is someone who became this fitness influencer and was selling this scam to her audience, and she was manipulating people. She was selling her body image in exchange for these, you know, online classes or whatever with the macro counting, and you guys know the whole scam. She is a manipulator. It's so funny to me to hear someone who's so aware of how people manipulate others when, Jordan, you married a manipulator. People show you who they are through their actions, and the actions that I've seen from Brittany Dawn are pure trash. Same goes for you. But right now, let's talk about what she did with people who trusted her. People who have trust of others and then manipulate that trust are terrible. And y'all know number one on my list, pet owners. To have an animal give you their trust, and when they needed you, you bailed and you shot the dog in the head. So you're both trash, you're just different kinds of trash.
To kind of get what they want. I don't know that there's a end-all be-all solution for that. You just have to kind of focus on how he treats others, how he acts, how he, what his true relationship. Listen, you can't fake a truly intimate daily encounter like relationship with the Lord.
Yeah.
You can't fake that.
Yeah.
And so if they're having that and you're a part of that and involved in that with them, like we started praying together very early on in our dating relationship. And so you can't really fake your way through that.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I don't know if that's a good explanation.
That's perfect. Yeah. And going to church is not enough. Like just going to church, because there's so many Christians that go to church on Sundays, but yet what are they doing with the other 6 days of the week? They're not glorifying the Lord with that. And so I think that even a guy saying, oh, I go to church on Sundays, like that's not enough. If that's your highest standard, you need to raise the bar. My 2 cents. Do you guys ever...
I want to say this. I've expressed this before, but when it comes to going to church, if you're listening to this video and you go to church on Sundays, or you go to church Tuesday, Thursday, and Sunday, or Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and that's what works for you, I'm so happy for you. However, when she wants to shit on someone who only goes to church on Sunday, like that's not good enough, that to me is a reminder of how these Christian influencers talk down to their audience. Because right there, verbatim, she said you're not doing enough if that's all you're doing. But I will say what I've said before. I don't need to go to a brick and mortar building to feel close to who I consider God, or who I pray to, or who I worship. And that's my journey. That doesn't make me any less of a person than someone that might go to church 3 days a week.
Do you feel like you have off days as far as your faith goes? Do you have struggles where you don't feel as close to the Lord as other days? Yeah, absolutely.
I think everybody does.
I think that's normal in your walk with the Lord, especially once you're married. We went through spiritual warfare in our engagement period, but then we also went through spiritual warfare on the other side of our wedding. And so I think that like different seasons are going to bring different struggles. Yeah. And I think just in those moments you have to be like, just what's the word I'm looking for, mindful of those things, and like know to draw deeper into the Lord's presence when that comes.
Well, yeah, and from a day in, like a day out perspective, that's why they call it a walk, because it's not always going to be sunshine and rainbows and just super sunny. And even though there just could be heavy stuff, sometimes it's hard enough to go through that stuff by yourself, but then it can be even harder to go through that in a dating relationship or a marriage, and have the other person understand that you're going through a tough season. So
went through that. Yeah, I mean, like, it's hard, like, when you as a wife watch your husband go through something that you can't fix, like you can't make it better for them, and you just have to be there for them and support them. That's really difficult. The next question, what are red flags women should look for in men while dating? And what are red flags in women? Do you want to go first?
Go first.
Okay. I think, gosh, just to name a few red flags, one of the big ones for me was who is around them and what do they say about them. You're talking to a guy and he doesn't really have any friends and he doesn't have any family and he's just kind of a loner. I don't want to say that's always a red flag, because I do understand that there's seasons where the Lord prunes people from you, but I would say pray on that, because like when I met you, one of the first things he did was start taking me around family and friends and introducing to me, and like introducing them to me and vice versa, and just seeing how much they loved and adored Jordan. And I was like, okay, this is a good sign. Like,
that's bullshit, in my opinion. You can have people that are loners and maybe they don't have family. Maybe they were the black sheep of their family, so they detached from the couple of family members that they had. And as far as not having a whole lot of friends, I'll be honest with you guys, this is something that I came to the conclusion in the last 3 years, 2 or 3 years. Making friends as an adult is very difficult. I have a few friends that I'm close with, but as far as having a circle of people that I'm talking to every single day, being an adult and making friends and keeping friends is very difficult. Just because someone might not have a lot of people around them, to me, I don't really consider that a red flag, because I look at someone's actions. Like, how do they speak to me? How do they speak about other people that they know? I don't know. To say that someone is a loner and that might be considered a red flag is very stupid. And it just goes to show how little she knows about actually having friends as an adult. Because most adults that are over the age of 30 would realize that holding on to friends once you're in your 30s is really hard to do. It is what it is. And I've heard of literal psychopaths having a lot of friends and family. So having a big family or having no family it's a stupid way to judge someone, in my opinion.
this means that he has a big heart.
Pay him.
Did you pay him?
Yeah, I paid him off to say nice things.
Did you pay him to be in our wedding too?
No.
Are they trustworthy? Can they hold a stable job? Like, these might sound like worldly things, but also in the Bible, the man is called to be a provider and be the head of the house. Mm-hmm. And so, like, these things are very important, even as Christians. Will they honor your boundaries? Like, have those hard talks about boundaries at the get-go. We had that talk the first night we ever talked on the phone before our first date, because I just wasn't in a place where I was willing to compromise that. I feel like I'm missing a lot of, like, red flags. Like, are they manipulative? Are they condescending? Are they conniving? What are their characteristics? Like, the fruit. Like, what are...
Do they murder dogs instead of taking them to the veterinarian? That's something I would consider. Do they scam people out of money and then hop on a flight to a tropical destination when they're being called out on their shit? Do they abandon a horse that they literally walked away from in the blink of an eye? Yeah, those are all really important things to me too.
Is their fruit?
I would say that my answer to that question is infinitely more shallow. Do they eat with their mouth open? Like, all around general manners? Are they rude to waiters and waitresses?
Oh my gosh.
Red flag number one. If you
No,
are
thank
rude
you.
to a waiter or a waitress, like, what?
Literally.
Are you kidding me?
Literally.
I don't know.
That's a whole video in itself.
That's just a quick, like, tip of the iceberg. That you can establish that on, like, a first date.
Yeah.
Like, if they're
Can I say
unacceptable.
something?
Yes.
I had a girl message me one time on Instagram and she was like, so I actually went on a date with a guy, and when we were leaving, he asked for me to pay half the tab. Is that an expectation? I wanted to bring that up. Like, is that an expectation? I understand that it's hard times and some men aren't financial.
I don't have any problem, before he even puts his answer in here, Splitting the tab, to me, I'm not someone who constantly expects the check to be paid for, and I don't expect, a dozen roses every Friday. I don't expect, I can get my own door. I can get myself in the car. I don't know. I know that those things are really important to a lot of people. And don't get me wrong, like, I love, getting flowers for like my birthday. Like, that can be really fun. But this whole idea of someone having a meltdown because they had to pick up their half of the tab, I don't know. I don't think that's that big of a deal. And money is hard. And at the end of the day, I would rather be able to go to dinner and have a really good conversation with someone and know that they were being genuine and real with me and pay my half of the tab versus go out with some, cocky asshole who paid for my dinner, but I didn't really walk away from the experience with anything.
Able to.
I was raised old school, and I was raised that the man always pays. I know that there's this huge shift in like our culture where, it's supposed to be this 50-50 thing. It's one of those things. If a man, I don't know, it's
hard. Yeah.
Go with whatever you want. I always am I was raised like the man pays, at least initially.
Especially if he asked this girl out.
Yeah.
Like, that's kind of just
like, we will, now that we're like married, or even later on in our dating phase, we would take turns of who plans the date. Like, we'll do like, oh, it's like her time to plan a date, and she'll plan a date and she'll pay for it. Like, because she planned it and it's her thing.
Well, and you also are tired of hearing me gripe that you never let me pay for anything. So this man
there's also that.
Never lets me pay for anything, and so he just gets tired of hearing me say,
My God, her lipstick is driving me up a fucking wall, dude. Why don't you just take a little bit of lip pencil and contour the outside lines of your lip? It wouldn't look bad, but it's driving me nuts. It literally looks like she took foundation that was 3 shades lighter than her normal foundation and used it as lipstick.
let me buy something.
Now that you are married, how do you honor each other in marriage?
That's good. Honoring him.
I don't like this question.
You don't?
No, because it's like nothing changed.
Yeah, nothing changed.
I honor her in the same way that I did while I was dating.
Yeah.
Like, there's no decisive like on and off button. I think you carry over the way you honor someone, and just because you put a ring on it doesn't mean it changes.
Yeah. Wow. That's so good.
That's my thought.
That's so good. I think having those same boundaries that you had while dating, like, perfect example, you would never date a guy that's talking to multiple women. So, like, why would that change in marriage? You would never date a guy who's disrespecting your boundaries. So why would you marry him? Like, all those things like carry over into marriage season. What do you think about the man being the head of the house? Aren't you scared?
Yeah, I am scared. Petrified.
I think it's honestly, I'm not one of those women, and I used to be so like, me, independent, like, I can do it. Like, these shoes on my feet, I bought them. Yo, I didn't. My husband probably bought them for me. But, like, I think that, like, just like you were saying earlier, there's such a shift in culture right now and in gender roles, I guess, for the lack of better terms.
We're old school.
Yeah, and rooted in the Bible. And God says that the man, like, the woman is supposed to submit to the husband. And, like, I was pretty pumped about that because I'm like, okay, cool. Like, I am not doing life on my own. I have his opinion, his guiding hand.
Okay, so here's the thing. You guys know I have a big problem with women being submissive to men because I look at a marriage like a partnership. I look at it like we are partners, we are soulmates, we are doing life together. I am not here to follow your rules. Now, am I going to be a really individual and just go AWOL and do whatever it is that I want to do and, spend all our money and be having, affairs outside the house and stuff? Absolutely not. But I am also not here to have you be my father. I need you to be my lover, my best friend, and my partner. That is what makes a really healthy partnership. It's not being submissive and allowing a man to run my life. I run my own life. I have a good head on my shoulders. I know what I'm doing. I need someone who is going to go through this life holding my hand, and I'm holding your hand, and we lean on each other. So the whole submissive thing, to me, it can cross over into excusing an abusive relationship, and whether that's physical, mental, emotional, financial abuse. I just think that once you get into that mindset of, I need to submit to my husband or my wife, it can blur the lines of, am I being abused and am I okay with this?
Like, and he just
because you don't like making decisions.
I don't. And
she can't even decide what restaurant to go to.
We should talk about dinner tonight after this, so that we have time to decide. Any night of wedding tips. I'm very nervous.
She can't make a decision on where to go for dinner, but I can guarantee you she made a very quick decision on how to scam a bunch of people out of their money by selling them a false product. And then she also made the very intentional decision to vacate the premises once she was called out.
Too much pressure on her. Just be yourself. Like,
it's not a Hollywood movie.
No.
Like, it's real life. I think that's really important to remember. And I don't know about you, we've never actually really talked about this, but I was a little nervous because, like, yes, I was not a virgin when I married him, nor was he. We had never opened that door with each other. Like, the opportunity to be able to, like, have sex and enjoy it. And we had never opened that. And so it's just like,
PG.
Well, you know, like, it's okay to say that because, like, we're married. But we had never...
So it's not okay to say it if you're not married. I'm sorry. I know that some people go by these rules, and if you do, I'm all for it. I could not imagine marrying someone that I had never had sex with. I just couldn't imagine not knowing what that person was like in that situation and then literally marrying them. Same goes for, like, living with each other. If you did it and it works for you, great, but I want to live with someone and I want to have sex with them and experience life together before I even consider marriage.
Never done that.
Yeah.
And so it was just like this element of the unknown of like, Lord, okay, like, this is my husband, what's it gonna be like?
And just don't put too much pressure on it. That is, I feel like in my heart that's a time for you just to be intimate with your spouse and just spend time together and whatever that looks like, and don't put too much pressure on it.
I would say our honeymoon was probably my favorite, more than our wedding night. We were so tired.
That was the other thing.
Night.
We were exhausted.
Oh, y'all, we were so tired that, like...
Yeah. Y'all have combined bank accounts. Yes.
Yeah. But that was one thing that we did not even 2 weeks into being married. Like, when we got back from our honeymoon, we did that. What's mine is his, what's his is mine. Like, that's marriage.
I hope he's enjoying some of that scammed money that is probably still sitting in her account paying their bills. I have said this in other videos. I don't know how you can sleep at night knowing that you are paying your electric bill with money that you scammed from your own subscribers that trusted you.
How did purity make a difference in your marriage?
I feel like there's many ways you could come at this question.
Ooh.
Go for it.
Purity made a huge difference in our marriage because it was different than any other relationship we'd ever had.
Yeah.
And we put honoring and respecting the Lord first. And so it's made and brings everything else in perspective, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. That's kind of where I was going with that. I just couldn't find the words.
Words are hard.
Words are hard. Yeah, that baby hit the nail on the head. How do you have good boundaries?
And here's the thing, if purity works for you and that's your journey, fine, but it's the pushing it out to all of your impressionable subscribers, the ones that are still actually listening to you, that's where I have a problem with it. And when these celebrities lean on purity culture and they make it seem like the best thing that you could do, the golden rule, the best way to live your life, that's where I have a problem with it, because it comes with a lot of shame and guilt, and it's all downhill from there.
boundaries with in-laws, how to keep them from interfering in your marriage. Luckily for us, we don't really have, we love our in-laws. Like I love
parents,
my in-laws.
yeah. Her parents are awesome.
Yeah.
She has an amazing relationship with my mom. They talk frequently, but
that's not to say there won't be issues in the future. And I think that we've had that conversation, like, you know, you hear about it all the time. Like even the best marriages are going to have conflicts at some point, because even in marriage, like you're not always going to agree on something. So why would you put that expectation on in-laws who are not your covenant, you know? And so I think just like having boundaries of like, hey, like this is our family, like we are family. When we have kids, this is our unit, our home base, and they come first. Your you know, well-being comes first, your heart, your opinion, my heart, my opinion before.
Well,
I mean,
biblical,
that's the man leaves the family, or whatever scripture that is. We'll put it out here on the screen. I think just knowing that like it's biblical, like answer to your husband and wife, second to the Lord first. So yeah.
Who apologizes first?
Not me. Definitely not me.
Hey.
I'm so stubborn, you guys. How did you?
Shocking. She doesn't apologize first. She doesn't refund money that she scammed first until she's sued for it. She doesn't answer questions from people who are having issues with getting a refund. Stubborn and scammer, I guess, are just her forte.
Was the one, vice versa. Just goes back to one of the first questions. I saw his fruit. I saw how persistent and patient he was, and how he honored my boundaries and was there for me on my best days and my worst days. Treated me like I had never been treated before. Like would literally bring me food at night, go out of his way on his way home from work to come to my place and bring me dinner, bring me whatever I needed, flowers, chocolates. Like it was just so unlike anything I had ever experienced. And so
there's also a lot of actual psychopaths that do the same thing. So you happen to luck out, and so far so good, but let's also not make it seem like any man that brings flowers and chocolates is going to be the best thing ever, because it's not true.
It didn't take long. It did not take long for me to fall in love with this man.
Yeah, I just think transversely, like doing things the right way, like neither of us had ever done before, and putting God first and putting the Lord as the center focus of our relationship. It was pretty easy and apparent to see like her heart for women with the Sheila's Freed ministry. It was easy to fall in love with her, and we both knew pretty quick.
You fell in love with me?
Yeah.
Oh, babe.
So
that's the Q&A.
Yep.
We did it without my camera dying on us.
That's it.
Anything to say?
Nope.
You just ready to run errands?
Yep.
Yeah. All right, guys. I'm probably gonna chop this up into 2 videos because this was super long. So thank you guys for stopping in on my channel.
Thanks so much.
I don't know why this was chopped up into 2 videos. Both videos were less than 18 minutes, but I guess that's just what she wanted to do. Who knows? But either way, like I said, if you live your life this way and it works for you, that's fine. But when we cross over into influencer territory, it's constantly attaching a price tag to it. It's pushing out purity culture that can be very damaging to young teens and young adults too. It can excuse a lot of bad behavior. It can cause mental health issues where you are putting out this message of, I'm saved by Jesus, and if you're not doing what I'm doing, then you're not going to be saved by Jesus, and you're going to just sit in your misery and, you know, die. Like, it's all just so crazy to me. There's just a lot of problems kind of intertwined, but at the top of the cake, it's the fact that she is a scammer who hasn't paid anyone back, and her husband is a racist former cop who murdered her dog instead of getting him proper medical care. So until the issues are fixed, I will still be keeping an eye on her. So either way, for now, if you like the video, please leave a like in the comments. And if you'd like to see more from me in the future, please subscribe. I'll see you guys soon. Bye.